What's quicker around the track, the Hyundai i30N or the i20N? I'm here at the Nurburgring. I'm going to test both of them and just not necessarily see what's quicker in terms of lap times, but also just see what's more enjoyable. Hyundai Australia has linked me up with these guys, RSR. They do all sorts of track day stuff, various models you can hire out and take around the track. As a special treat, they're going to give me the i30N RSR edition to take around. Now this is a enhanced version by RSR. It's got upgraded suspension and so on. And we'll just see how it handles and see how sort of open the i30N is to upgrades. First off, in the i20N. So this is a totally standard vehicle that you can hire yourself and take it around. You don't need a special license or anything like that, just your driver's license. I think the only thing that's been changed is the brake pads. They're just a slightly upgraded brake pad just so it can handle constant track abuse. But other than that, totally standard engine, 150 kilowatts, 275 Newton meters, 6-speed manual, limited slip diff at the front. Now this track is known for sort of speed and power, and the i20N is known for agility. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I've got the rev matching on, just to help me because I'm from Australia and I don't drive left-hand drive. I'm just still getting used to that a little bit. But yeah, you can turn that off if you want to. Timer running, not that this is a official timed lap or anything. I'm, as I said, not from around here, so it's not going to be a super quick lap, but just so we can see the difference in the hands of a sort of novice against the i30. Good front end bite from this thing. I love the way you can just throw it in and it pretty much grips all the time. There's hardly any understeer ever, and even if there is oversteer, it just it's so controllable. You just keep the power down and it will pull you back into line pretty good. This guy's letting us pass, but I'm not sure we've got enough power to get past him. M3. Oops. 200. Just dust on the brakes a little bit. Got a guy behind me. Just try and let him past. This section is a lot steeper than it looks on camera, and then there's this massive dipper at the bottom. It's really sets your organs back into place. Nice and smooth around here. It's awesome that Hyundai offers these as standard production cars. You can thrash them around the track all day long, and they withstand the abuse. They're lots of fun, and they produce pretty good lap times, even if you're a novice. I don't think this guy's seen me. nice and late. And then you can get on the power and just take the corner nice and wide, use all the road. See how it goes up this big long uphill section? It's not a torquey vehicle, but it is very lightweight. It should be okay. Still accelerating. 5th gear. .170. Still accelerating a little bit. 180. To 4 for this one, just so I've got a bit of revs to pull me around. I'm going to come up to the carousel. So this corner is a very steeply banked corner that's allows you to pull heaps of G-force. And yeah, go around really quickly. It's you definitely can't experience it until you've actually done it. I mean, it doesn't show on the camera. And just to add a bit of excitement, the corner has actually got concrete blocks that have got, you know, connections and bumps all the way around. So it really thrashes the suspension. Favorite section of the track, downhill, down these S-bends. They say you shouldn't use the curbs here, but I mean at the Nurburgring in general, because they're very steep, but I actually don't mind using these ones a little bit. Actually, we can keep that in 4th. Tyre peel at the moment. This is now my 4th lap and it's still holding on really well. You're just going to get that with driving cars around the track. Bit of a technical section around here, got a bit of squeal happening. I've got a little jump as well. So again, you probably can't see this on camera, but it's actually a nice little jump. Back on the power nice and early. Carry the speed around this right-hander and over the dipper. Unweights the front end quite a bit. You've got a series of blind corners here, so you can't actually see where the road goes. You've just got to know the track and hope for the best. Sweeping bend, you can carry a fair bit of speed around here. Same with this one, but I'll put it back to 3rd just because we might have to pass this guy. Mini carousel. A bit of wheel spin, bit of air on the inside front wheel. That's a lap in the i20. So we'll see how the i30 goes, not just in terms of the time, but is it more fun in the i20 or the i30? Let's see. All right, let's go in the i30. So this is a standard i30. It's just got aftermarket wheels, I noticed. And I think it's got the upgraded brake pads, but other than that, completely standard. I've got the N mode in a custom mode because I like the diff in the kind of milder setting, and then I like the suspension in the middle setting as well, just because this is a pretty bumpy track. There's no need for full rigid suspension. In manual mode as well. anyway, this has obviously got more power and torque, 2-litre turbo, 206 kilowatts, 392 Newton meters with the 8-speed dual clutch auto. And yeah, I can feel that it's got more power and speed than the i20, of course, but is it more fun? Great front end, like you can hear the tyres squealing a little bit. That's just because I've come off a dirt car park. But it's got really good steering and it's very engaging. I can feel when the tyres are going to let go, if they're going to let go. See if we can get past these guys. So on a tourist day like this, you can pretty much take any car down, a bit bumpy through there, and just you pay for a little card, and you can pay for as many laps as you like. There's a 2-hour window or 2.5-hour window we've got today, and you just tap the gate and away you go. We'll go on the outside of this guy. He's indicated that we can go past. Down the Big Dipper, 170, 180, and over this little jump we've got a bit of congestion. Just brush the brakes a little bit, back on the power. Along here it should be a bit more, should be able to pick up a higher speed than the i20 if these guys get out of the way. To third. Yeah, so even in that mild diff setting, I'm getting no inside wheel spin or anything like that. It's still a limited slip diff. That's just not as aggressive. Down through this very exciting bit, there's a Big Dipper at the bottom. We're not going to be able to hit it at speed because we're going to get past this guy. 170. Back down a gear. Like we've got just a standard 330i in front of us, letting us past. Thank you. Good brakes in this as well, even though we're thrashing around a big track. High speed track, it's holding up really nicely. Yeah, this track has got a lot more bumps and undulations than it looks on camera or on a computer game. It really throws you around, and even the angle of the road sometimes is like very cambered, off cambered as well, so it really puts a lot of pressure on the tyres and so on. Just leave it in third for this. Use that torque. Down through this dipper, through the town of Adenauer. Back down to third, back on the power straight away. Yeah, this is pulling a bit harder than the i20 up the hill, as you'd expect. This is the famous corner where Niki Lauda had a big accident, I think, back in the 70s or 80s. Just get around the safety car. I can see me, yep. Yeah, it's a crazy crazy circuit. It's the size of it alone is you just don't expect it when you first get here. It's a massive circuit, 20 kilometers long, 20.8 I think exactly, bigger than anything we have in Australia. So up this hill, I'm still accelerating. It's quite steep. 5th gear, still pulling. Back to 4th just to get some revs. Probably don't need to, but I'm just having a little bit of fun. Same with this, leaving the 4th and just let it pull through. Hard on the brakes for this, kind of like a hairpin, but it's got a lot of runoff on the outside. Just make sure this guy can see me. The competitor, the GTI. That's good, thank you. Up over the hill. This is my favourite section because you can just roll down the hill. Bit of a chirp into 4th gear there. Curb a little bit. Could probably stay in 4th around here. I'll just use a bit of revs to rip me out. He's letting me past. So the rule is you've got to overtake on the left like you would on a public road, because this is classed as a public road. So it's the general rule. As we come up to the Big Dipper. I like this corner as well because you can just throw it in nice and deep if this guy wasn't slightly in the way. There we go, a lap in the i30N. So I don't know if the time will be quicker or slower because we had a bit of traffic. But yeah, that was definitely still very exciting. I think with more power, you've got more speed, and some of the straights are quite long and they're uphill. So I think having that extra power and torque, yeah, it's a little bit more enjoyable for me anyway. That's just my personal opinion compared with the i20N around this specific track. But either way, that i20N with the manual gearbox is still very exciting, lots of fun, probably more overall fun, and it's a bit more playful as well, the handling, whereas it's a bit tail happy if you get it wrong, but if you get it right, you can use the front end as long as you've got that diff and that mild setting, I reckon. And then the last one we're going to drive is this RSR edition. It's been modified and enhanced a bit, upgraded suspension, a little bit lower, massive rear wing on the back, as you can see. I asked them if they've upgraded the engine, and they said that the exhaust has been modified and they said something about the ECU, so it might just have a light remap or something just to adapt to the new exhaust system. They also said it's a little bit lighter. It does have most of the interior stripped out, although it does have a roll cage. Even so, it's lighter than the standard model. The roll cage should increase rigidity as well. So very interesting to see how this will handle compared with the standard model. All right, here we go in the RSR version. I'll flick it over to manual mode. One thing you will notice is this has got aftermarket paddle shifters, carbon fiber, much bigger, so you can reach them a bit easier than the standard ones. And they make a nice noise. You can hear when I'm changing gears. Other than that, I'll just leave it in the N mode. See how we go. Full throttle. So it feels a bit faster than the standard one. There's a little bit more noise, but mainly due to the lack of insulation, or the pulled out insulation. You can hear some rocks and stuff flicking over the rear wheel arches. Actually, the suspension is not ridiculously firm. It's obviously set up for the Nurburgring, which has got a lot of bumps. It's yeah, not full race spec. Come on, GT3. Ring festival in the background, so it kind of feels like I've got a crowd. Very exciting. Is definitely a bit lower, and it remains a bit flatter than the standard setup, but it does have sort of semi-slick tyres. There's 190 going through there. Roll off the accelerator, back on the power. 150, 160. Yeah, we're definitely carrying more speed compared with the standard one. That's 200. 220. Just brush the brakes, back on the power. Back down to third. Just roll around the corner, feet on the power gently. I'll let this guy pass behind me in an M3. The Big Dipper. Body kit scraping out a little bit. Yeah, there's definitely a bit more front end grip. The combination of the tyres and the suspension. Brakes, actually, they're not shuddering or anything. This is now my 4th lap in this, and they're just holding up really nicely. And this big right-hander, lots of G-force. Just leave it in third, let the engine bit again. Back on the power nice and early. Let the engine pull me up this big steep hill. Cast back off a little bit, then back on it. Back to third. This is a late entry corner, in my opinion anyway. Feed in the power, carried all the way out. Building up speed more than the standard one up this steep hill, up the hill here. It's not steep, but a little bit steep. Feed it in, 180. Past the M3. Probably leave it in fifth around there. I just like revs, so change down. Get the diff working. Looks like we're going to have a bit of an accident. Yeah, that's the thing about the Nurburgring. You never know what you're going to get. There's all different sorts of drivers, all different sorts of cars. You just got to be cautious. Keep an eye on the red flags or the lights. I mean, sorry, the orange flags or orange lights. And keep an eye on your mirrors as well to make sure there's no GT3 Porsche hunting you down. Looks like we've got something happened at the carousel. Does that mean we can jump back in or no? Oh yeah, he's had a bit of a hit coming out of the carousel. Exciting part of the track for me anyway, coming down this steep section through the S-bends. Just throw it in there. Watch out for the Golf. Yeah, the diff's working awesome. It's just pulling me in line, never understeering really. Don't forget to wave to the crowd on the left. Take this right outside. Another incident. Yeah, so if you want to come here and try and do lap times, you can't really guarantee that that's what you'll get, because more often than not that something's happened on the track. You'll be lucky to get a nice clean lap. But it's not really about that. It's about having fun and exploring the limits of the car and your driving ability, I guess, helping you learn, and in a safe environment, or pretty safe anyway. I mean, the guardrail's only 2 meters off the track, but it's going to be safer than out on the public roads. So I've heard that if you do crash, you've got to pay per meter of guardrail that you damage, and they just come out and fix it straight away. It can get pretty costly, I imagine. go, there's a lap in the RSR edition i30N. What do I think's best out of them all? Well, let's jump out and have a bit of a chat about it. So what do I think's best out of those three? I don't think it really matters what's best. It's just, you know, what suits you more and what's more fun. I think the i20 is more fun. You can throw it around a bit, but it's still hugely capable. Like that thing, throw it in at the last minute, jump on the brakes at the last minute. It's just very forgiving. But if you do want to, you know, kick the back end out or something like that, it will do that as well. The i30 definitely has more power. I think it is a bit more suited to a track like the Nurburgring with the long straights, long uphill stints. It just makes a little bit more sense to me, but I totally understand why people would prefer the i20N. I had a look at the lap times, or what lap times I did between the two. I did about, must have been about 4 laps in each of them, something like that. And there was about 5 seconds difference between the standard i20N, or the RSR i20N, and the standard RSR i30N. It's not that much, but you can't really compare because there was accidents and so on in different stages. So yeah, it's not really fair to compare, but it just goes to show that it is quite even with it. The RSR edition was, yeah, it's pretty hardcore with only light modifications. Rip the back seats out, put a roll cage in it, put an exhaust, remap the ECU, and you got yourself a pretty much, it's a racing car. Like it feels like a racing car. A lot of drama and theatre inside. And that's from, you know, not much expense either. And that's considering the low cost of the i30N to begin with as well. Overall though, they're great little packages, and they're probably, you know, a last of their breed, a last of their kind. The next generation will be hybrid or electric, much heavier, probably more expensive. This is all just a guess, by the way. Hyundai hasn't said anything official about what's coming up next for N. I do know that there's an Ioniq 6N, which is actually getting around here as well. Speaking to a few guys, we've seen a couple floating about as prototypes, but yeah, in terms of the i30N and i20N, they haven't confirmed anything official. So if you want something like this, now's the time to get in and get one. And if you are looking to come to the Nurburgring, we're staying at this place called North Loop Rooms. It's in the town of Adenau. The track is literally just over in the trees just there, like probably 200 meters away. You actually wake up in the morning to the sounds of GT3 Porsches and so on. It's pretty cool. Wasn't that expensive. This is not a plug, by the way. This is just letting you know that how easy it is to come and get some accommodation, stay in a nice German village with the track literally going over behind you. It's awesome fun. And then if you want to get some cars, head over to RSR. Again, this is not a promo or a plug or anything. They've just got some awesome cars there, big variety, Porsches down to i20N. Have some fun and go check it out. I'm going to go have a shower because I absolutely stink with sweat.